DFS show with John Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? John Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook preview show. We are looking at the Tuesday 7-game main slate. Starts 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Includes the late night hammer matchup, Boston versus Denver. Some exciting matchups on this. Atlanta, Utah figures to be rather high scoring. We have a couple of teams on back-to-backs. Minnesota and New Orleans. Minnesota on a back-to-back here. Lakers versus Dallas. Dallas on a back-to-back. Phoenix, Charlotte. Phoenix is on a back-to-back for this main slate. We also obviously have some news with Houston. They're going to be without, obviously, already Jabari Smith. They're without likely Tari Eason. And was it Jalen Green, I believe?
Jalen Green questionable, yeah.
Questionable for this slate. So be on the lookout for that as they draw the Washington matchup. Of course, you see the screen here. Plenty of red and orange when it comes to who's in and who's out, including one major potential return on this slate, James. Zion Williamson upgraded to questionable for this Tuesday slate.
Crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. We're so back. Oh, Pelicans start
just early Monday afternoon. We got the message. Oh, he's doing 5-on-5s, could return this week. Boom, questionable tag for the Tuesday slate. So we'll see whether or not Zion and his hamstrings can return for this 7-gamer. I can't imagine.
He's going to forget them. He's forgetting them at home.
Because they're without Trey Murphy. Rolled his ankle, ruined our lineups the other day.
Dude, he had 40-something fantasy points before that one. Yeah.
I know. So he's out already. So we'll see what happens with the Pelicans there. Obviously at the Lakers and their matchup. Dallas, of course, if you missed the news, Kyrie going to miss couple of weeks. Luke is out. They're on the back-to-back. We'll see what happens there. So, yeah, a lot to talk about. Atlanta already without Jalen Johnson in this one here. Got hurt. So we'll see in that Utah matchup what we got going on for all of you. Jokic is your top overall price play at 12.5. We'll see
where he's still too cheap.
He figures into his lineups here. The Celtics took 83s the other day, only hit like 7 of them. So, that happens. We'll see what happens.
I messaged you as they entered the chamber and they didn't do too good in that chamber, The torture chamber is a scary place for some people.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Point guard position, Trae Young, $9,700. Probable for this matchup coming off of a 50 fantasy point game. He said quite a nice little run, 60-52, 48-50. Now draws Utah, one of the best matchups on the board. Utah also missing a whole lot of people here. So they'll have that advantage. LaMelo Ball faced Cleveland, played 33 minutes, took 20 shots. Wasn't great. It's Cleveland. That happens the most. Phoenix is on a back-to-back. I don't know if I mentioned them when I was reading off the back-to-backs, but they beat Philadelphia on Monday. They're on the second leg on the road here. We'll see what happens with that game. But LaMelo certainly in a much more interesting position at $9,500. Tyler Hero, I bet his game over might get that in the first quarter against Sacramento.
There's a chance. He
is cooking Sacramento right now. $9,100. He gets Golden State. That's your 9K and above guard grouping. Young and LaMelo, obviously, no real reasons to not play them. It's just a preference of how you play them, right?
It is tough to figure out who amongst all of them because they're all equally great. I mean, Trey against Utah, no Jalen Johnson, sticks out like a sore thumb. Sub 10K. LaMelo Ball gets a Phoenix team that hasn't defended well until obviously they did play good defense on Monday against Philly.
Coincidence they move Ryan Dunn into the starting lineup and they hold him under 100 points?
Yeah, hold him under 100 points. You and I talk about this all the time. Like, what are the minutes going to look like? LaMelo came back 33 minutes right off rip, right? So we should be good. Uh, we should be good here. Max minutes, LaMelo. Love that 9,500. I mean, Golden State's defense has not been good for a large stretch of time right now. So, just looking at their defensive rating over the last 10 games, just as a sample, they're 23rd in defensive rating. You want Tyler Hero without Jimmy Butler? Do it. That's fine. Like, he's really good at basketball. We'll see if DeJounte plays. It's kind of hard to talk Pelicans right now because we have no idea who's playing. All we know for a fact is that Trey Murphy is out, but DeJounte is coming off the triple double. So even with, and he had the elbow issue, right? So if there's no Zion and he doesn't play, we already know there's no Murphy. I'm probably going back to the DeJounte in tournaments. Steph coming off, he was really good in that game, at least shooting. They just got Malik Monk and Domantas Sabonis, and that was that, right? But he has shot the ball really well the last couple games, so that is worth something. You're getting
Miami doesn't play good defense either,
and Miami doesn't play great defense either. So all of the people above 8,700 are in play here. Probably Trey is probably my favorite, but I have no problem playing any of them.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, point guard's pretty loaded here.
Yep.
We'll see if Poole returns to the lineup or not. He's listed as questionable for this one. Had the hip. McCollum has been ridiculous. Granted, those came against the Washington Wizards there, where he had huge games. Murray, Daniels is here, 7,400. Reeves continues to look really good. Van Vliet, no potential. Jalen Green in the lineup, and then Derek White at 7K. So some really good spots at the 7K range too.
Yeah, no issues getting to anyone. I have a hard time getting to Dyson Daniels at 74. That would probably be like the one thing I'm like, it feels like Atlanta's priced up, maybe because the
Utah
matchup, maybe because we knew Jalen Johnson way ahead of time, like they told us hours and hours and hours ago. So that's probably like the only player in that tier I really wouldn't have interest in. I will tell you though, it's hard not to gravitate towards a lot of these Utah guys again, John. Like Colin Sexton, 6K. I know he shot terribly in the Orlando game. Well, it is what it is. Orlando. He only played 26 minutes. He still took 18 shots on the second leg of a back-to-back. And I know there might be a Markkanen return, but there's already no Collins. There's already no Clarkson. There's already no Keontae George. Second leg of a back-to-back, they handily put away Orlando. He never really needed to get it fully extended because why would you when you have Bryce Sensabaugh? So I'm gonna be all in on Sexton in this spot against Atlanta. We've seen it.
You're not worried about the Dyson Daniels defense?
I guess that's a good point.
Because I mean that's the very obvious assignment for
Daniels.
Daniels.
Yeah, he's gonna guard. I guess that's but why wouldn't you put Dyson Daniels on Bryce Sensabaugh? I mean, what have we not watched Bryce Sensabaugh? Dude, he is have you ever he is huge. He is how we used to talk about Kenny Lofton or not Kenny. Yeah, Kenny Lofton, right? How big Kenny Lofton was. Bryce Sensabaugh isn't as big as him, but he's
Lofton was 6'5", 285.
Yeah, he's not that. But when you look at him, you're like, wow, that's a big boy. Bryce Sensabaugh is bouncing off dudes.
He was a first round pick.
Yes, he was. Very good scorer in college for the 1 year he played at. But anyways, you're not wrong. I will grant you the Daniels defense does matter here. If he's gonna take 20 shots though, if Markkanen's ruled out, I just have a hard time not imagining Colin Sexton just not caring who's guarding him,
Yep, that's no argument with me here. Again, you have the Boston-Denver guys. Pritchard didn't even really play in that game against the Thunder. They just rolled out their starting lineup and let him play 35 minutes. So he kind of got iced in that one.
Do you think that just before we just I doesn't it feel because that was the first time Boston's had their top 8, I think they said or whatever, or in I think top 8, right? Like since Porzingis has been back, there's been like someone in and out of the lineup basically every game. Um, do you think we get that in like more high profile games?
I think you could. I also think, when they're not hitting their shots, they need to play better defensively, and Pritchard's not going to help them there. So they had a
Yes,
lot of Holiday
sure.
and White on the floor to kind of offset maybe some of their poor shooting with defense, and that wasn't really helping them either because they couldn't
Sure.
stop SGA
That's a good point.
at all. So, but this could be. I mean, Denver doesn't play a lot of defense, so I mean, like this could very well be a
No.
spot where Pritchard gets on the floor, hits 2 or 3 quick threes, and then he's kind of rotating out with Drew Holiday there. So, definitely something to watch. Washington already went out Brogdon.
Carrington's questionable as well.
Carrington is questionable.
And I think was someone else officially ruled out, or is it just no?
Poole's questionable.
Koulibaly is questionable. That's what it is.
Koulibaly is questionable. So we'll see what happens with Washington there against the Houston matchup. Rozier has started. So
Yep.
$5,100 for him. If you want to go there, you certainly can.
Yep.
What did Dallas do tonight with they started Najee Marshall at
They did. They sure did.
Dinwiddie still played 30. Hardy played 21. Grimes played 26.
Yeah. So who did they ice? I mean, Gafford got hurt.
Clay
played 27.
Yeah, Cleva. They didn't really ice anybody.
Yeah, everyone. They just played 9, right? They just played 8. They played like 8 guys. That's it.
Yeah.
No one else really got any minutes.
Hard to trust the guards, obviously, off the bench there.
I mean, it's like obvious. Yeah, we'll get to the rest of the. Yeah.
I mean, Collier's here, right? Like he did not play well against Orlando. Again, tough spot against Orlando.
Yeah, it's just the shooting has not been fun for him.
Yeah.
The peripheral stats have been good. The shooting is just not it.
Yep. And he'll start, and they'll play another 28 minutes in this game probably against Atlanta. And, again, Daniels is going to be all over Sexton, so there'll be opportunities for him to produce. Anything else for you?
Yeah, I think the Hawks started Vit Krejci the other day. They did. Krejci, the Butler thing is really interesting. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
It was Krejci and Butler were my 2 names. They started Krejci in place of Jalen Johnson. I assume it had to do with how well he played in Denver. I was watching that game.
He didn't start the second half of that game, though.
In the Clippers game.
Yes.
He did not. Yeah, they started DeAndre Hunter. They started Hunter. So I guess it, keep in mind that if you do play Vit Krejci, he played the final 18 minutes of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he closed in a blowout. But it is worth noting, right? He started.
No, for sure. It's just a guy like Vit Krejci is live to sit or
for sure.
So Bogdan's actually, I think, available for this game.
Okay, if he's available, then I completely take back my Vit Krejci. Bogdan is probable. Yep,
probable. Yeah. So that's going to cut into
Do you think they would start Bogdan?
They still might start Krejci, but it just hurts the rotation that he could be.
Agreed. And then Jared Butler to your
Butler.
Erase Krejci if Bogdan's officially in. But if people are out, Jared Butler is a really good fantasy point per minute guy.
Yeah, I mean he nuked in 20 minutes in that game, so
he's kind of done that, right? Like basically every time he's been extended, like serious minutes.
We've highlighted him a few different times.
Yeah,
and he's had some opportunities to play. So shooting guard. Again, heroes up here. Booker at 89, Brandon Miller at 86, Jaylen Brown 85, and then Anthony Edwards.
Whew.
I mean, 65 fantasy points in 44 minutes against Detroit, and then you and I were talking about it now. Back-to-back games, facing a tough Clippers team tonight, and he went and played 37 minutes. He took 29 shots. He scored 37 points, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and a steal for Anthony Edwards. So back-to-back big-time performances for Anthony Edwards. I guess my question is going to be just how competitive is this game going to be? The Pelicans have not been a competitive team this season. They're going to be missing Murphy. Sure, Zion's back, but in what capacity is he going to be back?
Maybe
Um,
Murray too.
yeah.
Maybe missing
So
Murray too.
I will say this, right as of right now, this is only a 5.5 point spread, which feels
Interesting.
a little low, right? Like a little interesting, but
Mm. I
does
mean,
like
that's
Conley sit on a back to back? Maybe like no,
there's a
does that even move
chance.
the needle? Like,
No, I don't think the Conley. They didn't even start Conley here, John. They started
yeah,
DiVincenzo.
yeah, that's true. They should start DiVincenzo.
15-9 for Dante DiVincenzo
It
in the starting
works.
lineup.
So I don't know what to read into that. That 5.5 feels I feel low. I get it. Back to back road game, I guess, would be the reasoning for it. If you're going to tell me Minnesota is going to play a 5 point game against the Pelicans, Anthony Edwards at 8,400 in current form,
Too
feels like it
cheap.
could break a lot of hearts or win you some tournaments tomorrow.
Yeah, break a lot of hearts or break a lot of banks.
Yeah.
In favor of the people that have used him, because he's now gone for, like you said, 50 bombs in back-to-back games.
We've been talking about this with him for a long, like, where did the shooting volume go, right? And now we got 31 and 29 shot attempts in back-to-back games.
It's really great. I'm not gonna lie. Like I'm all for like the 3-point volume going up.
Yeah.
But I'm also loving that he's taken 16 2-pointers in the last 2 games, because he can get to wherever he wants when he's
Yeah.
shooting, when
Let's
he's
see what he
getting
did he get to the free throw line tonight? He
not a
was
lot, not a
3 or
lot.
4 from the
But
line.
but again, he took 16 twos again. So like
Yeah.
he's just getting to wherever he wants, and he's scoring wherever he wants at that when he does it.
Agreed. So yeah, again, we've much in the way of like Halliburton and some other guys this year where like the ceilings on these players are humongous for what their pricings are right now. So
Right.
now could be the time to take advantage of. I mean, he was $8,600 2 nights ago. I forget what he was on the Monday slate. Now he's $8,400. Like this may be the lowest we see Anthony Edwards again, right?
Yep.
Like just
Yep.
on his way back to 10K. So I'm very willing to get to Anthony Edwards at 8,400 in that matchup there. All these other guys you've kind of touched on. Eamon Thompson.
I was gonna say, just get Tom and Thompson. Just get there.
41 minutes against the Lakers. 23, 16, and 3.
And a shout out from LeBron. Did you see the quote from LeBron after the game?
No, I missed it.
He said, Cade Cunningham said it best. Them Thompson brothers aren't like the rest of us.
Yeah.
They're dogs.
Yeah.
They are freaking crazy people.
That shot volume is not something we see that often out of him, but if everybody's going to be out of the lineup, I mean, he's starting due to Jabari. This has nothing to do with Jalen Green potentially being out. So, yeah, Eamon Thompson, really good spot here at 66. Another guy where it's like jump on that train now.
Yep.
He'll be 8K in a week, especially now this matchup against the Wizards. We'll see how competitive they can be in that spot.
Where you just stole all those words out of my mouth. I was going to say jump on now. He's going to be 8K in a week. That's word for word what I was going to say as well.
You know, we've been doing this together long enough.
True.
Sometimes we have that.
True.
That ability there. Let's see here. I guess, if DDV's starting 4,800.
Yes. If DDV's starting at 31 minutes, 15-9, really solid production. Interesting that, they switched their lineup around. And Conley was actually really good off the bench too. But yeah, if DiVincenzo is going to start, I do kind of like Bub Carrington if he plays, and like Poole doesn't, knowing that Brogdon's out. If we get Bub with like no Poole, no Brogdon,
yeah,
and he plays 33 minutes again, that'd be really solid. If for everyone's out, I mean, look at the Kispert stuff is just so funny. Every time I look at Corey Kispert, he's just doing nothing.
Giving you your best Malik Beasley impression,
dude. Every single time he's just doing nothing.
You can go Christie. I know we talked shot volume the other day, but he played another 39 minutes.
He's just gonna be locked in here for minutes due to the he's just so good defensively. He's their best defender.
Lonzo will be limited to 24 minutes for a while per Donovan. So that's the minutes cap now. At least we know, right? At least we know Lonzo will be capped at 24.
I'm a little. I guess that had to be asked by somebody after the media, because
probably is there the progression for his playing time, because he closed again.
And
So,
he played 24 minutes, like on the dot. Played 24.
So they're just going to set it up so he closes games and finishes with 24 minutes. So there's that. Again, Christie's there. Ju Zhang played 23 minutes. Again, he's been pretty decent for the role he's playing, but it doesn't seem like he's got much more of a ceiling there. Anything else?
Utah is a nightmare, dude. They played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They played 10 guys, between 16 and 29 minutes, John.
Yep.
That's not going to change here.
No.
I mean, man.
All right, let's go on over to small forward. Again, Tatum up here at 10K, dual positional eligibility. A bunch of guys we've already mentioned. Marketing would be super interesting at 74.
Yep.
If he was to play.
The back again is just not.
Yeah, it's bad. Tough, right? Because he tried playing through that one game and then bowed out at halftime with it. So
yep.
But with everybody out, there's obviously usage rates. Got to love the shot attempts we've been getting out of him as well there. So DeAndre Hunter had a really bad game against the Lakers, unfortunately, a game that I played him in. Bounced back nicely against the Clippers. This is their 5th straight road game. That's kind of tough at times, but no Jalen Johnson. I think there's definitely an opportunity for him at this price.
Yeah, I just don't. 6,900, dude.
Yeah. You need the 20 actual. You get the 20 plus actual, you're gonna probably settle in, in that range.
You need the second part what you said. You said 20 actual, and then you said 20 plus actual. You need like the 25, 26 fantasy like actual, because like even when you look through, and I'm not saying he's having a great year.
Yeah.
There's like no ceiling at this price. There has not been like any ceiling at this price.
Yeah, it's 140 game this year. That's it.
And even like if I'm paying 6,900, I want to know that my guy will at least have.
Most are gonna play Amin Thompson, so
right. Good point. It's a good point.
Got Wiggins there.
You went past him, but MPJ absolutely nuked against the Spurs the second game.
Yeah. Big minutes.
And he's just scoring so many points. Like if you get the rebounds or if any like big peripheral stat game, you will get a nuke because he's scoring. Like he's been unbelievable scoring the basketball.
Aaron Gordon, I think, is questionable for this game.
No. He went through practice and they ruled him out already.
Oh, okay. There you go. Anybody else for you in this range?
I saw you show Wiggins. I would play Wiggins.
Okay.
He was really good in the Memphis game. They got blown out in the Sacramento game.
No Kuminga, so
no Kuminga. We should get like Steve Kerr has come out and been like, yeah, I'm not playing that rotation I was playing earlier in the year. Terrible idea. And we all, yeah, it was. So I don't really know. Like Kyle Anderson was the first one off the bench and Buddy Hield. Those two played the most off the bench in terms of like until before the blowout. So like Wiggins is going to play a boatload of minutes. Najee Marshall, 4,600. If they're going to go back to that lineup with Najee, then yes. And even if they don't, yes, he's going to play a bunch of minutes.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't. I guess, I mean, they lost, but it wasn't really his fault that they lost.
No, he looked really good. And we heard,
I told you, out of top tier talent on that team right now. They just don't.
Yes.
Well, who's their best skill player on that healthy skill player?
PJ, probably.
Right. You're not going to win many games, so that's your answer, right? Like,
yeah, unless PJ went 7 of 22 from the floor.
Right. Yeah. So that's just, it's going to take some special matchups, and I don't think the Lakers are that. So,
yes.
But Najee's going to be fine. I guess you just wonder competitively there. Ryan Dunn started, looked really good, like did his job tonight.
Yeah, 26 minutes, 27 minutes did he play?
27 minutes, 15, 4, and 1. No defensive stats, which is a rare.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he's solid for sure.
Needs to learn how to smile in photos, but we all have those troubles.
That is a tough one. Unlike my boy Bryce Sensabaugh, who is big cheese and right underneath him, he's
Yeah,
got
like
the look at that. It's a professional smile, Ryan Dunn.
natural smile.
Ryan Dunn's just like Ryan Dunn was holding in like a fart or something. He was like pushing out a fart.
Someone told him to say cheese, and he like said the word and like but didn't smile.
He said cheese for sure.
So you got that. Then we got Cam Whitmore, who I jumped the gun in our Discord today. It's like, Cam Whitmore Day, let's go. You're like, it's not Tuesday, it's Monday. Well, today is now Cam Whitmore Day.
I know you can't help yourself, but
can't help myself. I got excited. Listen, if Jalen Green's out, Cam Whitmore might start this game. So
yeah, yep.
I'm a fan. Even in just 16 minutes against the Lakers, which is kind of disappointing. I thought he would have played a little bit more. 16 fantasy point per minute. So
we talk about this. Like Udoka does not mess around. I mean, the starting 5 minutes, John. Thompson played 40. Van Vliet played 42. Everyone else played 31 to 33, and then there was nothing left. I mean, Whitmore 16, Tate 15, Holiday 12, Steven Adams 16. That's it. So
yep, it's true. Christy, we've talked about. Anything else down here?
I mean, I know I mentioned the Sensabaugh thing. I would play Sensabaugh, by the way, if Markkanen is out, because it would just be the same team. We're just running it back. Like we would just get.
Yeah, I mean the shot volume for him goes away if Markkanen's back, right? Like he'll still shoot, but because there's no John Collins, so
he scored 20 actual in 3 of the last 5 games that he's played. Yeah. If there is no Markkanen, it is literally their same team. There's no Keontae, there's no Collins, there's no Markkanen.
Guy is 12 for 17 from 3 the last.
He is. But he was 16 points per game, and he shot 40% from 3 in college.
Yeah,
and then just didn't get an opportunity last year. He is playing. He is like, dudes, you have to play me. Like I am a bucket. So I would play Sensabaugh. I would probably consider anything Utah. I know it's disgusting, but like Svi Mihailuk was pretty good the other day in 20 minutes, 26 fantasy points. And you look at like every time he's been extended like 20 minutes or more, he's given you 20 plus fantasy points.
Yeah.
Other than that though, I'd probably just move on.
Power forward gives us again Tatum's up here. Not to just like glide by Tatum. We looked at, remember, I sent you the tweet today. He had 15 assist chances in that game against the Thunder, and the Celtics were able to convert on 1 of them.
Criminal.
So he had a double-double with 1 assist because he missed 14 shots on his passes.
Absolutely criminal.
More often than not, the Celtics will not go 1 of 15 on Tatum pass attempts here. So I would be very willing to run that back if you wanted to get Tatum in your lineup at 10K. LeBron against Dallas. Again, I question Dallas's ability to compete in this one. The aforementioned fact that, PJ Washington might be their best player. LeBron looked obviously as good as advertised here. KD,
5.5 point spread, by the way.
Which is it?
Lakers are giving 5.5.
I want to hop on that line now. I feel like Dallas is on a back-to-back
in Dallas.
They lost by 15 to Memphis. I don't know. You tell me. Does some of these lines feel a little suspicious to you?
The Pelicans one is weird because they're so bad. This one, I mean, they're just giving Dallas. Both those teams that are 5.5 point dogs are at home. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, that's fair. The Lakers I know the records haven't necessarily bared it out, but they kind of feel like a little bit of a wagon. They beat Portland and Atlanta. They lost to a better team in Houston. They lost to a better team in Cleveland. Like that's going to happen. They're better than Dallas. So
the Lakers are 20-15 and are the 5 seed. And
the way Reeves is kind of elevated, like
the Lakers also like 20-15 is good. I mean, in the West,
honestly,
dude,
I thought they were closer to 500. I honestly thought they were closer to 500. So
You lose one game in the West, though. Like, if they lose tomorrow, they're the 8 seed.
Yeah,
So,
there's a
like,
play-in game.
I mean, they're in
Yeah.
the play-in. So, like,
Yeah.
but if they win and Denver loses, they're the 4 seed. So, like, there's just no, like, it's so fluid outside of OKC. Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree that the Lakers should be like healthy favorites. I personally think Dallas is like a really deep team. They
I think they're
obviously
just
just
setting up for I don't often like to tease. Those who bet sports know what I'm talking about here, but you can do like a 5-point tease on the NBA and get it like minus 120. So it's not like a traditional parlay. You're altering the spreads,
right.
but you give me a 5-point teaser on the Lakers and the Pelican and the Timberwolves to basically be money line bets, like if at minus
Right.
120, like I just need them
You
to
gotta
win,
like those odds. Yeah, you like those odds for
right?
sure. Yeah.
Jason Kidd, Daniel Gafford expected to miss some time, so he went down with an injury tonight. Give you full lively minutes in that matchup against Slate.
He was really good, by the way, lively tonight.
Yeah.
14, 12, and 3 blocks, I believe.
Wow, good numbers for him there. He'll have to deal with Anthony Davis.
Yeah, good luck.
I mean, we're not going to play Zion, but they didn't really discount him at all. He's 9K.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I gotta see him play, and I gotta see what kind of minutes he's going to play, and then we'll make determinations. He was obviously really good before the injuries, but he's been hurt 3 times now this year, so like, difficult to trust.
A lot of
Bridges
times.
here, 26 minutes in that game against Cleveland again. They lost there. It wasn't his best effort, but he had been really good prior to that. A little bit more difficult, I guess, to get to him when Miller and Ball are both active at $7,900. Probably.
Yes.
Randall.
Yeah, bench tonight again.
Yeah. Yep. Just what we think Zion could be. Let's see. I mean, there is PJ Washington here. You mentioned he took 22 shots.
I would play PJ. Big. We talked about it on the Monday show. Big usage bump, fantasy point per minute guy. He had a monster fantasy game because he ended up with a double.
Yeah.
But it's just obviously he just hasn't, or he just missed shots. So like, his final line, John, was 17, 10, 5, and 3 steals. So like he had a big game. But just if he goes 10 for 22 in that game, he scores 50 fantasy points, and we're like, oh, okay, right.
Sar doubled against the Pelicans the other day. Again, it's been super good. This is obviously a step up in matchup for him, but
minutes,
yeah,
on the rise a little bit.
Yeah, he's been splitting some time with Valanciunas, but playing a little bit more lately. Kuzma,
you had
31 minutes,
high five to us.
Shots.
High five to us. You messaged me. You were like, I forget Kuzma verse. I was like, I'm playing Kuzma. You're like, me too. I'm like, all right, good stuff.
Dude, I said if he was in the starting lineup, I was going to play him. He started the second half of that first Pelicans game.
Yeah,
I was like, Kuzma's in the starting lineup at 6K, 5,800. Like, you have to play him. You have to play Kyle Kuzma at $6,000. I
agree.
I get it's Houston. I get it. Amin Thompson's likely going to be defending him. Not easy. He is way too good of a player to be $6,000, even if he doesn't have this isn't a good matchup. I'm being transparent about that, but he's a very good player that is not a $6,000 player. So, and if there's no Poole, we know there's no Brogdon. Like, he's live to take 25 to 30 shots in this game. So,
I mean, dude, like there's a lot that could break right for Kuzma. Like you said, it ultimately. I mean, he played 31 minutes. That game got out of hand. He didn't play the final, whatever, right? It didn't matter because he took 23 shots. And if there's no Poole, no Koulibaly, that's going to happen again.
Yeah. What was Koulibaly's price? We kind of went by him. Was he still over 6K?
6K, 64. Yeah.
64. Yeah, that's a tough spot to get to.
You would have to have Poole out to even consider it.
Yeah,
probably
because the assist numbers would be able to be there for him then, probably.
Yep.
I'm just quickly checking the usage numbers here just for Kuzma with guys off the floor this year. No Poole, no Koulibaly, and no Brogdon. Kyle Kuzma, usage rate, no Poole, no Koulibaly, no Brogdon. Doesn't have a lot of minutes, but his usage rate is 33% in that situation. His fantasy points per minute in that range is just one fantasy point per minute with those three off. Jared Butler, by the way, no Poole, Koulibaly, and Brogdon, 1.3 fantasy points per minute, 134 minute sample size. So
not too shabby.
Not too shabby. Take a look at that one. Okay, Wiggins is there. You can play Draymond to 58 if you wanted to. You can get there. It's fine. Him and Bam battling up against each other.
Yep.
What did Champagne do? Champagne 27 minutes.
Nothing. He did nothing.
Missed his shots.
Could have asked me. He played.
He played. Oh, was he in your lineup?
He was. I played him over Brogdon. That was my pivot.
Okay. Dylan Brooks played a lot of minutes, did nothing. That's Horford. Eason is
there. He's doubtful. Dude, it was a really weird, another one of those like weird things about like, you have to listen to it. Udoka commented on like the Tari Eason stuff, and it's just another one. Like it was like the Anthony Black stuff, like just weird commentary behind him.
Jovic is having another like good start. It's impossible to predict, but the minutes lately have kind of been pretty decent for him.
Why did he move back to the bench? I guess it was like
they starting Highsmith
and
Rozier, right? Is in the line in Jaime starting for Butler.
Yeah, the Jaquez one, I guess, would be the reason why. But
Jaime's got 4, 5, and 4 right now.
Dude, Jovic has been so good lately.
Yeah, he's got 6-2 and a block in 10 minutes tonight.
Jovic, right?
Jovic.
So Jaquez is going to end the first half with what, like 15 minutes or so? 14 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, assuming he closes it out. I mean, Hero's not on the floor right now, so they could. They'd actually just put Hero back in for Duncan Robinson. So, yeah, I mean, he's going to close out the half, 15 minutes.
I'd be
okay. Like Highsmith is doing absolutely nothing. They could just as easily play Jovic over Highsmith. Yeah. Because Spolch is very difficult to project the
very
Jovic minutes there, but Jovic has been really good. So
he has been really good.
Jaquez just picked up his 3rd foul, so maybe we'll see some extra minutes there out of.
I guess it just would depend if someone sits on a back-to-back, right? If someone sits on a back-to-back, then maybe we can go there. We didn't mention Richeche. I might look at Richeche, $4,400. No Jalen Johnson. Okay. Has been better of late outside the Lakers game. I mean, double-digit scoring in 3 of 4. The rebounds, he's a really good offensive rebounder. I've watched him slash from like the corners all the time for offensive rebounds. So,
sure.
I don't hate the minutes. I don't hate the production. I would like it to be a little cheaper, I think, because like if Marketing sits, I'd just play Sensabaugh instead. But and like
he's probably better now. He was up over 5K. Remember, earlier in the year. So
yeah, it's true.
That's probably it. All right, we'll see what lineups end up looking like.
Micah Potter,
you son of a bee. Anyways, Nikola Jokic, not Nikola Jovic. 82 fantasy points, back-to-back 80 bombs against San Antonio.
When I was writing the waiver wire article the other day, I was writing Nikola Jovic, and every Jovic I wrote was Jokic.
Yeah,
every single one.
Cue the countdown to Jovic actually sitting out the second leg of a back-to-back, and everybody commenting under the underdog status lineup alert, being like, "Change your name." Like, happens all the time. That's again, to everybody who comments when we do our live show and be like, "Oh man, I can't pay $12K for Nikola Jovic." 93, 72, 83, 82. There's no price that I will not pay to put this man in my lineup. If I choose not to put this man in my lineup, it's not because of price. It's just because I've decided to burn money.
He has to be $13,000.
Yeah.
He has to be. Like, this incremental change is just going too slowly.
$200 at a time is not enough for you?
Bro, it was $12K. He went for 93. It didn't move.
Yeah.
For 2 whole days. And then he went for 70 again. They're like, all right, I guess we got to change it. 83. Man.
Dude, even 13,000 is still 65 fantasy points.
Yeah, but at least, but I'm saying, like, dude, it just has to be that number. Yeah. It has to be that amount of your salary gone for people to like, for us not to just sit here and be like,
have to think about it,
dude,
right?
yeah, for us to just not sit here and just be like, yeah, we're gonna like, it doesn't matter the matchup. He played against the biggest freak of nature defensive player we're ever gonna see in the history of the NBA,
Yeah.
and it did not matter a bit. It did not matter one singular bit. It doesn't. But if it's 13K, if it's 13.5, it's 14K, then we can't just sit up here and be like, yeah,
Right.
it doesn't matter. Like, we're just gonna play this guy and figure it out. Because then if it's 14,000 of 50,
Yeah.
then you're legit like, oh man, like,
Yeah. And you need 70 for 5x at
yeah, you need
14,000.
and then you need the 80, and you're like, does this feel like an 80 spot? So like, this is just criminal.
Yeah.
It's just criminally too low.
Yeah. I agree. 62.5 is 5x at 12.5. So yeah, yep.
Dude, he is averaging 70
I
fantasy points a game.
I know. The guy's on
70.
for 90, 80, and 80 in 3 of the last 4. So again, we get these comments and listen, we love your comments. We want you in the chat. We want you chalking it up. It's never too expensive.
Never.
I don't know what the FanDuel price is. I guess we could look at that. Like, they're sometimes a bit quicker to bump, but
Already on it.
okay.
Are you a robot?
If he's like 13.8, something like that, maybe.
I'm a freaking. Oh my god, I'm a person, FanDuel. I'm a person. I'm not a robot. Oh my gosh, do you get this every time you log in? Every time I log in.
I got locked out of my account the other day. Yeah, I'm unlocked. Security reasons, you've been locked. I can't log into FanDuel because they make me reset my password every time I go in.
I'm literally getting authentication code every single time I log into this website. I am a person. I am a real person. He has 12.9.
12.9. Okay, so he's almost there, right? Like over on FanDuel, where you
He's
don't
12
get points for triple doubles and double doubles. So
but you know what his fantasy points last 4 games have been, John?
85, probably.
80, 82, 80, 67, 90, or 89. So he's gone for 83 times. It just doesn't, dude. He has to be 13K. It has to be.
For 20 fantasy points per game less, you have Anthony Davis.
Who's also been really
good, but his 30, 13, 2, and 5 block game only got you 60 fantasy points. So
is that not crazy?
30,
That's
13, 2, and 5 blocks, and he scored 20 plus less fantasy points than Jokic did.
Dude, it just really puts it into perspective, like what Jokic is doing statistically.
Yeah, I agree. And like I get the comments that are like, well, if he only goes for 60, then we lose because like Durant can go or like AD can go for 60. It's like, yeah, but AD is not going to go for 80, and Jokic has done that more than like AD has gone for 65. So
80 has 170, and again, not going to put it past him to get 70. First game of the year, he went for 70.
Yeah. And
he's been amazing.
He's got 68, 67, 69. He went him back to back, 68, 69. Okay. He went against Memphis, 40 points, 16 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, and 2 steals, and was still 12 fantasy points less than Jokic. So,
it really does put it into perspective on like
the monster numbers.
What the ability to
and
check every box is.
Davis got up to $11,000. Like that's so again, you can play Anthony Davis because it helps you get another player in your lineup. That's fine.
Right.
Go take his 65 fantasy points in this Dallas matchup and that's whatever. But Jokic can go for 90. He can outscore him by 30 for $2,000 more. Şengün, the Wizards are one of the worst defensive teams in the league. We know Şengün can triple double. If you want to go there at $9,300, like knock yourself out there. Blocker Kessler, 28 minutes, 36 fantasy points. He's been really good per dollar.
Yep. He had like 5 bajillion rebounds in that game.
Yeah. We're actually getting less blocks than we're used to, honestly, out of him. So
yeah, true.
Mark Williams, though, right? I mean, 6K. They're going Plumlee. Like
They didn't. They barely went plumb. We
Iguodaro played. Yeah, you called that.
We sniffed that one out. Like,
yeah, Nurkic ended up playing what in that game?
14.
Okay,
It went
got 21.
Yeah, 13, 14, and 21 was the split. So exactly 48 minutes from those three players, which is a nightmare. Which is a nightmare for anyone trying to roster the Suns. But yeah, 48 minutes from them. That's great.
I do like Mark Williams.
Yeah, I think 6K, if we're going to get 28 plus minutes, is too cheap. He has just like fallen short of multiple double doubles. Like, and I believe he was in massive foul trouble in that Cleveland game. I know he had 5 fouls, but I think early foul trouble in that game.
Also, going up against Jared Allen and Evan Mobley is going to give you lower output. So.
Yeah, that's true. Mobley had a monster game, I think. Or Allen, I think so.
Gobert's down to $5,500.
He had 20 rebounds, I think, tonight.
18.
18
rebounds.
18, okay.
Big price drop though on him. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard to predict that rotation right now, right? Like Naz Reid played so many minutes tonight.
Yeah.
Randall hasn't, but like.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're benching Randall, it's because it's in favor of Naz, right? Because he can play the 4.
Yeah, but also we've seen like Gobert get benched a couple times lately too. Like Gobert before this game, 30 and 28 minutes. He hadn't 4 straight games of no more than 31. So like, or 5 straight games until the Clippers game. So it's just hard to. I don't disagree on the price being like super.
You think Gobert play because of Zubac just out there being a monster?
Probably. Is Ives Messi going to be that? I mean, I don't know.
Messi played 33 minutes in that game again against the Wizards. Had a good game.
Yeah.
Again, Valanciunas, you talk about all the time. Hard to predict the minutes. 20 minutes in back-to-back games wasn't very good in terms of what we've, the big games. I don't know if he gets that against Houston here. TJD only got 18 minutes against Sacramento in that game.
Yeah, they also just lost out to blowout. And they also went to Looney a little bit, which they're live to do. Lively, dude, $5,100 coming off the double-double. We've talked about it. He just has a high ceiling when he scores. Bingo, 14 and 12, 40 fantasy points.
Mm-hmm. Okonkwo's down here, 24 minutes for him. Always kind of a tournament play.
Yep.
Utah could be a good matchup for him in that spot. Mentioned Reed.
They played Filipowski a lot the other day.
Potter was doing nothing, right? So like just
he played the most minutes out of anybody, including. I mean, obviously he closed, so, but they played him with Walker Kessler, so that wasn't like a.
Yeah, listen, he can play the 4.
So if they're without Markkanen, I don't hate the $4,100 Filipowski play.
Okay,
I think they would change
Iguodaro a look 3,500 here.
He's kind of low floor, but I would ignore that. I think because all 3 of them.
Someone gets ruled out back to back, Nurkic sits or
if one of them were out, then possibly because if they're playing all 3 of them double-digit minutes, there's no way I'd even try.
And then you wouldn't touch Kleba, I would imagine.
Not with a good 100-foot pole.
All right. Are we building around the Joker here, or what are we doing?
Dude. So, like, obviously, the first thing that stood out to us right away was Trey without Trey sans Jalen Johnson, but they're like Atlanta's like really expensive.
Yeah, we do Trey Whitmore Jokic. It's 47 to play, which I feel like we can do. DiVincenzo's 48.
Well, we have Utah. I mean, just Utah, right?
Yeah.
We know for a fact Collins, Clarkson, Keontae are out. That is going to open up a ton for us. The Collier thing. I'm not like totally against it, but 4,200.
Rather play Christie at 4K?
Probably. I feel better about his minutes.
Yeah, well, for sure, locked into like 38.
If we can't do the Trey, like if we can't get to Trey, like if we just
I mean, we are at Trey right now, getting Najee Marshall $6,100 util.
I know we're so close to Amen Thompson.
Kuzma? Yeah, you want to get the Amen, right? But
that's where I was like kind of saying like if we got down from Trey and somehow got to Amen Thompson, that wouldn't be the worst idea we've ever had, but
like Reeves or something.
I might swerve, bend that corner. Whoa. You know?
Something like
Shout
that.
Shout out LiAngelo. Sorry, I got it. I just can't. It's just we're talking basketball, you know? What's more basketball than LiAngelo ball and almost swerve?
So yeah, we're kind of just in the Reeves territory, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine. He's been great.
Reeves, DiVincenzo, Whitmore, Sensabaugh, Jokic, Christie, Thompson, Kuzma. Example lineup with $500 left over. I believe. Am I on the Playbook tomorrow? I don't know. I guess you'll see. Be surprised for everybody. I make the schedules and I forget who does it. But we'll be back live. I know that for sure. Myself and Grande at 5 p.m. Eastern time to break this all down for you with the latest news and updates. Hit that like, that subscribe, that share. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know about today's show. Any questions, comments. Grande and I always interacting with you folks there in the chat. Until later today, we'll catch you later.